Hey, what's up?
What's up, man?
Thanks for hopping on.
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well.
Uh, uh, Thank you for taking the time to come on. This is episode number 192 of the Let's Take. I'm here with Shawan Lewis from University of Albany, and I'm excited to have him on to share his story and experience of his football journey with me today. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So, how did your recruiting process start?
My recruiting process was a little bit shaky, so I would say going into my 11th grade year, I was getting recruited by a few MAC teams, Buffalo and Ohio. I went up there, went on a few visits, and I was in contact with some of the coaches, and didn't end up performing as well my 11th grade year. So going into my 12th grade year, I wasn't really in contact with those schools. So after my 12th grade year, as my senior year, I did good. I was top five in sacks in the state of Maryland and stuff like that. I got awards and stuff. I ended up picking up an offer from Bowie State University. We was a top ranked team at that time, coming off two conference championships. So ended up getting an offer from there. Went to Bowie, and after that, I went to Bowie. I balled out. Ended up getting the transfer portal and landed at U Albany.
Hmm. How did your experience go playing on your high school football team?
It went pretty well. It started off pretty slow. I was always a big guy, so just going into high school, I was a freshman on varsity, starting in the state championship, playing 3A football, starting at center and playing a little bit of D line. And then after going to 10th grade, played more of D line. And then 11th grade year, just strictly D line. 11th to 12th grade year, that's when I started racking up sacks and stuff. So I ended up being all state and stuff like that, all that good stuff. So pretty well.
What was it like growing up in your hometown and getting to where you're at today?
So I will say I grew up in a Baltimore area, so being back and forth between the county and the city is pretty rough in Baltimore. I was able to be brought up by the Pikesville Wildcats and the Ricerstown Mustangs. So just it's tough out there, but you make ends meet, and it just makes you work harder. And sometimes you don't have access to the best resource, but you make it what it is.
How long have you been playing the game of football?
So I started when I was 5 years old. My father is funny; he was in the military, and as soon as he left the military, he signed us up for football, and he had us hitting like he would stuff bags with a whole bunch of clothes in his army bags, and he would have us do like practice tackling drills with those big bags.
What is your biggest strength and weakness?
I would say my biggest weakness is that's a great question. As far as strength, I would say definitely my ankles and my knees. I feel like I can bend really well for my position. As far as weaknesses, I would say uh, maybe a nah, I wouldn't say that. I would say my biggest weakness is I don't know, that's a good question. What am I not good at? I feel like I have a good set of moves, but I definitely want to add on to my game as far as moves as a pass rusher D line. So I definitely want to become more versatile. So I guess say like my moves and stuff like that, all that good stuff.
Uh, how did this past season go for you guys?
So the past season it went decent. We actually we had a coaching staff like adjustment. We had a head coach. His name was Greg Gattuso. He was here for close to 20 years with the program. He ended up going to Penn State and all that good stuff. So then they promoted our offensive coordinator, Coach Ambrose. He was moved up. So it was first year head coaching, and we didn't end up having a good season. We had a whole bunch of close games, so we ended up going 2-10. But now we just had a coaching staff change, so hopefully everything goes better this season. I think things are going in the right direction.
Hmm. Have you had any experience playing any other sports?
Yeah, so I did. basketball, track, wrestling, and I think that's it. Yeah.
Uh, what made you want to play for Albany, and was Albany the number one pick that you wanted to go to?
I will say that I think I had about like close to 20 Division 1 offers in the transfer portal. But what stuck out to me with University of Albany was just like the culture, the area. My parents, they're from New York, from Queens, New York, and stuff like that. I have family not too far. Um, there was a great program. I mean, Greg Gattuso found Jared Verst, and he helped find Aaron Donald and stuff like that. So he knew how to assess defensive linemen. So just with those connections, I feel like it was the right place for me.
What are some cool things to know about yourself outside of football?
Outside of football, I actually have my own business. It's actually called Lewis Products and Services LLC, where we're focused on just shipping out products and stuff like that, and we want to venture off to services, as in like giving services to the people.
What is a typical day like for you on game days?
It's a typical day like you wake
Yeah.
up, um, brush my teeth. Obviously, my stuff is already gonna be there. If it's a home game, drive to the facility and stuff like that. Foam roll, stretch, Norman Tech boots, treatment and stuff like that. Get a nice light breakfast. Depending on the time of the game, we want to time up depending on the time of day. Of like if you want to carb load, like if you have a game later in the day, you probably carb load in the morning. But if you have a game that's in the morning, you probably carb load the day before. So, depending on the time of the game is will be my eating schedule. Pre-game I would say like, get out there, stretch, work my moves and stuff like that, and get out there early. I like to break a sweat. I like to feel good and everything to be loose.
Hmm. Who in your family do you look up to?
And so, who my family? I would say my father. My father's worked hard since I was a little kid. He works overtime, 80 hours a week. He always calls me about football, and you know, he's been working hard my whole life. So I was able to be blessed to have the clothes on my back and have food and bring me to visits and stuff like that. So definitely my father.
What current or former NFL player do you compare yourself to?
I'll say Elvis Dumervil. He played in the Ravens, the Broncos, a little bit undersized guy, but he got to work. And James Harrison, both of them, I feel like I compare myself to.
What makes you a unique player on the football field?
I think a thing that makes me a unique player is me knowing the jobs around me, knowing the defense, and being able to play fast because how well I know the defense and looking at the small keys, whether if it's the offensive lineman stance or the running backs alignment and just small things like that, picking this stuff up and watching a whole bunch of film so I know what's going on before it even happens.
Hmm. Uh, what what has been your favorite memory playing at Albany?
Um, I feel like my favorite memory played at Albany was actually this past camp that we had after we finished fall camp, like during the summer and it's like really hot. Right after the head coach, he brought an ice cream truck to practice. So right after everybody's hot, everybody starts running to the ice cream truck and they had like Italian ice and ice cream and all that good stuff.
Hmm. How many hours a day do you take the time to watch film?
Ooh, especially during the season, maybe like 4 hours a day, 4 to 6, depending on the week. But yeah, between 4 to 6 hours.
Hmm. What do you like to do in your free time?
On the free time, I'm pretty simple. I play the game. Um, I go to the gym. I'm pretty simple. I just focus on my recovery and stuff like that, and just getting better and just decompressing away from football.
What is your plan for this upcoming football season and beyond?
So from this upcoming season, obviously I'm focused on the season coming up. So, right now I'm focused on building strength, speed, and all that good stuff, mobility, stuff like that, I want to have a great stat line, what follows with that is a pro day. So those two things are my main focuses, which is what I put out on tape and then my pro day after that, that makes or breaks an athlete.
Uh, and what do you plan on doing after this season?
Uh After this season, I mean, I want to enter myself into the draft, or, if not, I want to become a coach. I want to be around football for the rest of my life. That's what I love. That's what I do.
Hmm. I appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day to come on to talk about your journey, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And I'll definitely stay in touch with you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.